Alright guys, this is me back again with my Enchanter and my son's Druid. So I think I'm looking at that thumbnail and I think it says I'm 41. It's hard to see from the thumbnail size. But this is Oggok and we're taking down Ogre guards with a little bit of charm killing. This just is a little bit of a display of showing exactly how powerful a Druid and Enchanter combo can be with charm killing. So what the Druid provides is snares, a little bit of healing, and some buffs, which is nice, and a second pair of roots if necessary, even though their roots wake up Mez. I try not to let him use that anymore than I have to. But he can also have Invis memmed at all times, or camouflage, I guess. So that's really pivotal for an Enchanter, so I don't have to worry about getting that Goblin Gazuki ring, whatever it's called, that breaks charm with the animal Invis. He can just keep that memmed at all time, and when I need to have my pet broken, I just have him Invis me. And he's my 10-year-old son's playing right next to me, so we get a lot of easy coordination right back and forth with each other, and it's pretty awesome. I get to play with my son with something that I'm interested in and he's interested in too. Most kids are busy playing Fortnite or something, so for him to be interested in this 20-year-old video game is pretty awesome. But as you can see, I'm doing my best to keep up with these ogres as they're pathing and going back and forth.
Root drop.
There's a couple pathers here, and so I think there's 2 pathers that go right in front of this house over here. There's a guard in the bottom. It might be 2. It's been a while since I've been here. And there's one up the path on the left there, and then there's 2 up in the top of the tower. So with an Enchanter or with him using Harmony, it's easy to single pull them. But yeah, there's a lot of synergy between Druids and Enchanters, and I hate using that word, but it fits. Because having a pet that's snared and tashed is completely game breaking as far as an Enchanter is concerned. Because when Charm breaks, you don't even have to stun them. You can just have plenty of time to recast the Charm again and send it back in and retash if necessary. And Enchanter Charming is very much have your pet get as close to dead as possible and have his pet or his target taken out. See, I'm pulling him back because I'm worried about my pet dying. So my son decided to hit him with his weapon. He likes doing that. Think he's some kind of backstabbing rogue. But I'm having my pet sit. He's casting Invis on me, and when we time it just right, well, I didn't have to worry about it because this guy was so low. He wanted to sit there and get some practice with his melee because, you know, that's something a druid should have. So this will be a little interesting to see how long it takes an Enchanter and a druid to take down a guard when you're hitting for at max 14 or 17 apiece. But you can let him have his fun. But yeah, the idea is to try to get your pet and the target down to as close to even as possible before he breaks charm or the other one dies. On p99, when you're soloing as an Enchanter, it's a real big deal to have your pet, if he's going to do more than 50% of the damage, to break your pet before that happens, because he'll steal half your experience. But what's nice with a Druid being in the group, or anybody in the group, that doesn't take effect. So as long as your pet does, if your pet can do all the damage, and you'll still get all the experience, that penalty goes away with being grouped. So that's just one thing that you just don't have to worry about. So he's pulling with snare. It gives me more than enough time to tash him and charm him before he gets to me. And then he's going to go back up and get another one. So he's pulling with harmony, which means he can single pull with leisure. And this is by no means a fast experience camp, but it is something that's relatively safe and steady experience, and you get a good chunk of money because he can have wolf form, and that wolf form means that he can sell to the vendors for quite some time before he's completely KOS. So yeah, it takes him a little while to get the pulls with snare, but it's more than worth it because you don't have to worry about the hecticness of having to root or whatever. So I'm starting off with a tash, then I'm going to root just to make sure that the target's always rooted, and if at all possible, my pet snared, and life's good that way.
Root drop.
He's, I think, giving me a bunch of plat and copper. Yeah, you can get a good chunk of plat when you come here. If you spend any amount of time here at all. A lot of folks that I've seen here in this camp are like 43 or higher, and when they walk in and see a 40, or I think my son's 39 as his druid right now, and me being 41, taking down these guys, or maybe that's 42, can't tell. They just think that I can't possibly do the camp, but with both of us here, it's quite easy to keep up.
Charm drop.
Oh, there goes a charm drop. So not a big deal. I just get my distance. Even if I want to. And a lot of times if I got a pet that's like 3/4 of the way dead and charm breaks, I'm just going to switch targets. And I'll make the other guy my pet and have him finish him off.
Root drop.
Now I got him under control. Now I got a brand new fresh pet waiting to tango. So I got him.
Interrupted.
Another thing that really helps as a Druid Enchanter combo, if I do get my butt whomped, I've always got him to be able to heal me up if necessary. I'm using that Insidious Rod to cancel my global cooldowns on p99. Just so I can fire off spells as fast as possible. But yeah, I've seen people solo in here from, I'd say, 42 all the way up to like 48 is when people start getting really low experience from here. But sometimes they just go farther than that just because the selling of the round shield and the swords are good enough to keep leveling here just to get a little bit of extra plat.
Root drop. Fizzle.
So a lot of times I'll root them even when they're turned, just so it takes off a little bit more damage from my pet so I don't have to nuke down so far. So a lot of times people will just let him turn around and let your pet finish him off, but if he's rooted, he's going to turn around and hit the first thing he sees, which obviously is my pet. So I've got another, he's got another one coming, so since my pet is mostly dead, I'm just going to have him break my charm, root him, turn around, find the one he's pulled. Looks like it's going to be a long pull with snare. And charm that guy and send him after him. So, what is it? I think it's 29 end snare that druids get, as opposed to their normal snare. They get at level 1 or whatever, is substantially better. The normal 1 or level 1 spell of snare is an okay snare as far as speed reduction, but it just doesn't last that long. It lasts like maybe 2 minutes max, if that. But the end snare, it'll last like 5 or 6 minutes at 39. So when you're taking down pet after pet, You know, 6 minutes is a long time to have something charmed, so it works out really well. So they drop other things besides swords, but swords are most common. But as you see, that guy's got a spear. And since this guy's almost dead, I don't have to worry about burning him down or wasting mana on nukes or dots. I just switch targets and then go off to the next one. And you might have saw me do earlier is if I'm trying to get some life off of my pet, what I'll have them do is sit. I don't see a lot of people on Enchanter charming videos do that, and I think it makes a big difference. If you have them sit, the next round of combat that hits that guy hits at max damage. So I don't know if it stops them from swinging normal rounds of combat as far as doing damage, but it definitely makes it to where when they get hit the next time, if they happen to double attack or quad, they're going to double attack or quad for full damage. And if you do that, it seems to be pretty significant about taking down a chunk of their life if you're trying to max them out. Max out the damage against them. Another thing that Tecmos Deception told me about a long time ago, and I learned quite some time ago, is that if you happen to have a pet that's a caster, and he's casting something like Dispel or something you don't want him to cast, or Complete Heal or whatever, you can just have him sit and it breaks spell casting immediately. So if you happen to have a caster pet, then it's a good thing to remember. Another thing that helps is that you'll see me occasionally switch targets back and forth real quick. I have that bound to tilde, and there's a key combination or a key binding for last target, and that's really handy as an enchanter to sit there and switch targets back and forth, because if I wasn't playing with my son and the druid, who is the camouflage caster, then a great way to break your own pet is to target your pet, guard him, walk away at max casting range, and then hit F1 to target yourself. Start casting Invis on yourself, and then before the Invis has a chance to land, hit the tilde button again, get back on your pet, and get ready to root him so that you can finish him off with the nuke. So that could be handy. As you can see, I don't normally nuke, but I'm completely full mana in this camp, so I said screw it, might as well burn him down a little bit and make sure my pet wasn't having any risk of dying. So again, my pet's about out, so I'm going to wait for my son to probably invis me or cast an invis on myself. I guess I'm waiting for him. And as you've seen, I've got a lot of Gina timers going off for when my charm breaks and when the spawn timers are going to be going down. So like I said, I think there's 1, 2, 3, so there's 1 or 2 pathers in front of that house. 1 at the bottom at least. 1 at the middle, up the ramp, 2 at the top. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 around the front area. And then in the back area, there's with an easy access, 2 in the tunnels over there, to the left and right.
Charm drop.
Oh, there goes charm dropping, so that makes it easy for me to not have to worry about nuking him out. So I got the mana, I might as well take him out instead of my son nuking, which I sometimes rely on. But as you see me walk in this direction, there's 2 in the caves back behind me to the left that are with relative short, easy access to get to. And then there's 2 more right here, and then there's a pather behind here. I can't remember their names, it's been a while. But so there's a good large amount of guards in here. A lot of folks come out here and try to make 2 camps out of here, but there's usually not a lot of folks here for me to compete against. So it was relatively empty when I was here with my son. So I'd have essentially 2 camps for the ogres, and As you can see, I'm just sitting there cooking it at max mana. So with this combination, it basically you stay full mana between you and the Druid. Because the Druid's really doing nothing but snaring and harmoning for the most part. And I'm doing all the quote-unquote heavy lifting with just a couple of occasional charm. And I don't know if it's the most effective way of using mana, but I think it's pretty effective, and I stay pretty much full mana and low risk, and we hardly ever died as a Druid Enchanter combo from like the 20s up to 40 something, probably beyond as that as well. But I've seen lots of folks comboing like that, and it's a pretty solid combo. And he thought it was pretty fun. Me messing with my spawn timers. Guess it's a 24-minute spawn here. Armadillo used to always freak us out. We'd walk by and hear something stepping next to us, and we thought we were getting killed by an ogre. Funny thing is it adds a spawn timer for an armadillo. Hardly something you want to track. Now we're just waiting for those other two to pop. Looks like we've been so efficient that there's time to sit there and wait for pops. We started off our charming adventure in the Gina, and maybe 20s or so. There's a real good spot in the back that's got spiders and goblins and skeletons, and goblin camps are pretty hairy, because if you get a critical resist on one of those, there's 4 or 5 that will come. Yeah, here's one. 4 or 5 that'll come out at you, and that can be a bad day. But yeah, you can go from, I want to say 20 all the way to like 26 there if you really wanted to. I think we left around 24. But unfortunately you can't harmony there, which is just completely game breaking as far as splitting spawns. But low works pretty well. And so that's where we went for there. I can't remember where we went after. Might have went to Unrest. But we started doing gators, just like you saw in Techmost Deceptions videos at like 31. We tried at 30, but we got a whole bunch of charm breaks, so we left and leveled somewhere else. And oh, that's another thing Druids give you is which is just awesome. Oh, that's bad. Trying to make sure everything's under control. With my pet being snared, it made re-charming a lot easier. Oh, good lord. That sucks. Very rare you get charm breaks that easy, or that quickly. Oh, you turd. Start off with a bash, of course. So as you can see, even with things going bad as they are and me not playing as well as I could, the Druid around, it makes life a lot easier. He can do some miniature crowd control with his roots, and I've found is that my roots are far superior to Druid roots for some reason. And I never did like Druid roots, and it didn't matter what level it was. The earlier ones, middle ones, or even high ones. Oh, for Pete's sake. This guy's being a big pain in my butt. The normal regular root for an enchanter holds a lot longer, holds with being able to be nuked a few times, and can withstand a few nukes, and overall is just more reliable. The grasping roots on the Druid one was just the only time I use Druid
Root drop.
roots is if we're root rotting, and I'll use the higher level Druid root on that one. But other than that, I just rely on the regular root for an Enchanter. And here comes that other one. Alright, so my pet's really low. So what I'll probably have him do is guard there. Have my son break my charm. And switch targets, but we'll see what I do.
Mess drop.
I think I was trying to position them right next to each other. My pet's glitching out. What am I doing here? Huh. I guess my son was full of mana, so he decided to heal him for some reason. Been a few months since I started playing this, or since I played this video. So I'm trying to remember what I did. Created a lot of these videos, but took a long time trying to figure out the software and learn iMovie, and OBS is what I use to record all the videos and getting it working the way I wanted to, and troubleshooting all the mouse problems and all that was a big pain. So one of these videos I started just removing the mouse entirely, but finally got motivated to try to start making a couple videos. So this is my second one. This will be my last p99 video, and then I'm going to move off to my EQ Reborn videos. So you say that in a different playlist. I like p99 or EQ Reborn a lot better than p99. Stopped playing p99 right before the whole teal and what do you call it? Green came out. Saw something on some Facebook group for p99 and decided to check it out, and haven't looked back since. So you'll see me talk a lot more about that in the next videos or so. So we're trying to root rot this last guy so we can log off, but he's trying to be stubborn. Oh, for Pete's sake. His nuke broke right there. I think he's dotted him twice, maybe. We got tons of mana. And keep in mind, I do not have good gear. I don't even know if I have charisma gear in this guy at all at this point. I'm not sure if I do or not, but I've got some pretty low end gear and just a little bit of int gear here and there. I don't have any loam encrusted or any of that good stuff. I never had any kind of real money on p99. Prices for everything was just so ungodly high. And starting off, took forever to build any kind of plat. Much less just to forge your spells.
Root drop.
So anyway, I just want to show you guys a different camp and show you something. It's a good way to pass your time and get some plat and get a little bit of experience along the way. So Ogre camps is good, especially if you got a pocket druid around to help you out. I don't know how much easy it would be to do it at 42 solo, but I guess it could be done if you're really good. Probably better than I am, but you might have to wait a couple more levels for that. I don't know how shamans sit there and root rot things from 24 or whatever level they start rerotting to 60, because it just seems like this is a boring little bit of gameplay for me. But different strokes, different folks. I've seen shamans take out some really high-end dungeons by themselves. Anyway, I'll catch you guys next on the EverQuest Reborn videos. Bye-bye.